Hi everyone, my name's Ethan with Coreware, and in this video I'm going to be talking about pricing in coreFORCE. I will not be delving into too many specifics regarding CoreStore for those of you who do utilize both systems. However, I will make a brief mention that will be applicable. So let's go ahead and jump right on in. So first things first, I'm going to go to Orders Setup and show you that this is where we actually set up our initial pricing structure under the Pricing tab. So you're going to want to click Set up the default pricing structure, and that's just going to be a basic markup from cost. So that'll be kind of like the default fallback. And let's go ahead and take a look at where to edit that a little bit more closely. It's actually going to be under Products, Pricing structures. So you can see I have a lot of different pricing structures here. The one that was created from that order setup tab is the default price. So you'll notice a lot of settings, but it sets a base percentage. It checks this checkbox that's a percentage is our markup from cost. If you do want to utilize margin, you are going to have to actually calculate what the margin would be and then apply the pricing structure at a specific level that makes sense to you. So let's go ahead and go back to our list view and let's take a look at this firearms pricing structure. So this might be a pricing structure that you want to apply to a department level. So this is going to be more specific, and maybe you want to make 25% markup. And maybe just in case there's any of those little, $100 guns out there, you want to make sure you're always at least making $30. So we can set a minimum markup amount. This field is really useful for departments such as gear and accessories or things like that are going to have, $1.50, 75-cent product coming in from distributors, where maybe it doesn't make sense to you as a business to even have to drop ship that for a 5 to 20 cent profit. Maybe it just doesn't make sense. So maybe you could set that just as $1. You do also have the ability to set additional percentage when the total inventory is at or below a particular quantity. So if the quantity is 5 or less, we're going to add an additional 5%. Additionally, let's go ahead and make sure that this is check marked. And there is a discount section. I won't go too much into that for this training. We can go in more depth at a later point in time. And let's go ahead and click save on that. So you can actually set a pricing structure at this level as well. So let's go ahead and find, we have it called guns. And if I scroll down a little bit here, there's a pricing structure. We have a tiered firearms test there, but let's go ahead and just apply firearm pricing. And if I wanted to make a more specific pricing structure for maybe a category, if I placed it at the category level, that would actually overwrite the department level. So let's go ahead and check and see what happened there. Let's actually look at a product record. So let's go ahead and clear all of our filters. And then I do actually want to see in stock. Okay. So here, I think it looks like there's a 6-hour Legion P226. Can take a look at that one, and let's go over to the pricing tab here, and let's just talk about the pricing tab. So you'll see that it says pricing structure use default. That is going to use the default based on the criteria that is set for that product. In this case, it's in the department firearms, and for that reason it's actually going to use the firearm pricing structure. So that is the default given the criteria. Additionally, there is the list price. That's just going to be your MSRP, base cost, the lowest cost that you are receiving that product for. So for example, in the inventory tab, you can actually see which distributors or physical locations actually have that product on hand and what the cost is for that. Looks like the cost in this case is probably just coming from the shooting sports catalog since there's no data over there. Map price, there is a map price there that can be set. In general, or for distributor products specifically, map is going to be updated from the Coreware catalog unless the existing map is higher. So we always try to protect you by always utilizing the higher of the two maps, but we'll talk about map in another video. Minimum price that you want to be able to sell that for. And then there's also the displayed sale price. Unlike these 4 fields right here, you actually can't edit the displayed sale price. This is just going to be the calculated sale price. So if I were to actually go ahead and click view, that's going to open the product on the front end. And you can see that this is the price that it is actually being sold for, but let's go ahead and take a look and actually see where that price is coming from. So this is where the calculation log comes into play. This is going to give you a lot of very, very useful information. We can see that there's no client sale price found. That's important. We will come back to that. Reference price is going to be the base cost. It's using the firearms pricing structure. So it looks like there's not any discounts there. Current inventory is 1. So we add an additional 10%. There's a markup, just a base markup, 22%. Gives us a sale price of $1287.1. There's some rounding rules, however, so it's going to round up to $1289.99. So this is just the calculations, gives you all that information. Additionally, if you go down here under the product prices table, this is what we call the product prices table. You also have the ability to set different sales price. You could also set a sales price by user. Maybe had a particular member, for example, and then a sale price. Let's say $1289 is too low. I want to make $1300 off of that. So that is actually going to override the calculation log. It's going to override the pricing structure. So if you scroll up, we now have a new displayed sale price. If I look at that product on the front end and refresh, we can now see $1300, but we can also see a strike through price. So the strike through price is going to be showing because the price that we are selling it for is actually less than the MSRP. Additionally, and this is kind of where CoreStore comes in. If you are setting your prices from CoreStore for your in-store inventory, let's say our Dallas store, for example, and you're selling that product for $13.25, you have the ability to set that here as well. In this case, there's actually not any inventory available from that store, so it's actually just falling back to the any location sale price. But if there was any inventory at the Dallas store, then that would overwrite that. And that is all I have to tell you about pricing and pricing structures. In our next video, we will be going a little bit more in depth. We will be talking about MAP. So stay tuned and we'll see you in the next video.